They told you to chase the world, that faster is better, that louder wins, that busier means you're alive. But what if everything they taught you was keeping you from yourself? Lao Tzu once wrote, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." And yet we live in an age of outward conquest, chasing numbers, chasing praise, chasing what was never meant to be held. But the greatest empire you'll ever build is the one within. You don't need a palace to be still. You don't need incense or mountains to awaken your spirit. You need rhythm, ritual, return. Return to what is real. Return to what is simple. Return to what is you. Every morning you open your eyes is not a routine. It is a ritual. The breath you take before the world enters, that is power. Before the noise, before the scroll, before the demands, there is a space, a sacred space, between who you were yesterday and who you can become today. Don't let the world steal it. Don't trade it for chaos disguised as urgency. Guard it like a monk guards silence. Taoism is not a religion. It is a way of moving through life like water, strong enough to shape mountains, soft enough to slip through fingers. So today, we bring back the rituals, not rituals made of dogma or duty, but rituals that anchor the soul. The first ritual, stillness before motion. You see, the world wakes in panic. Alarms, texts, obligations, expectations. But the Tao, the way, begins in quiet. Even Edison, whose inventions rewired the world, sat for hours in silence before ever picking up a pen. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is the most profound something you can offer your mind, because from stillness comes clarity. You begin your day not reacting, but creating, not rushing, but remembering. Sit, breathe, listen, not to your phone, to you. Then comes the ritual of intent. Where do you point your life today? Most wander aimlessly, drifting in a storm not of their own making, but every Taoist master knew. The direction you face determines the life you chase. This is your compass. Write down your direction. Not a to-do list, a to-be list. Who will you become today? Disciplined, honest, unshakable. Say it aloud. Feel it vibrate through your chest. Claim it before the world distracts you into forgetting. Lincoln rewrote the course of a nation not through brute force, but by becoming the kind of man who could not be moved by noise. Now, the ritual of movement. Not for vanity, not for punishment, but to remember. This body is not a machine. It is a vessel. The Tao teaches us to move like nature, not hurried, not forced, but flowing. The tiger stretches not to impress, but to awaken instinct. The river bends not to prove strength, but to honor resistance. Each step you take in presence, each breath that aligns with the motion becomes a meditation. This is not exercise, this is remembrance of what it feels like to inhabit your own flesh, to return to yourself before the world tells you who to be. Carnegie, long before steel made him a fortune, took morning walks every single day, not to chase profit, but to court perspective. Because movement isn't just for the body, it opens the channels of the soul. Next is the ritual of letting go. We carry so much: grudges, guilt, regrets, comparison, shame. But Taoism teaches what is heavy cannot float, so let go of what didn't happen, of who didn't see you, of what didn't work. You don't need closure from others to find peace within yourself. What's done is not who you are. The past is a page, not a prison, like the leaves falling from trees in autumn. Release is not weakness, it is preparation, preparation for renewal. Even Ford, when his first cars failed, did not cling. He refined, he realigned, he released. And in doing so, he built not just a machine, but a movement. So write it down, then burn it. Say it out loud, then breathe it away. This is your ritual of lightness. Float forward. And now the ritual of discipline. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. Taoism is not passivity. It is controlled fire. It is focused wind. It is the art of choosing your energy and directing it with purpose. Discipline is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently, relentlessly, precisely. Walt Disney was rejected 302 times, not because he lacked creativity, but because he refused to quit. Discipline is the ritual that separates the dreamer from the doer, so do not wait for motivation. Rituals were not made for moods. They were forged for moments when the body protests, but the soul remembers. Light the candle, write the line, take the cold shower, send the message, stand again, because each act of discipline is a message to the universe. I am ready.
Then enters the ritual of clarity, because without clarity, action becomes noise. You move, but you don't advance. You achieve, but you don't align. The Tao teaches muddy water, let stand, becomes clear. But we stir the mud with every scroll, every comparison, every uninvited opinion. We flood our vision with distractions and wonder why we feel lost. So stop, sit in the discomfort of no input, let the noise settle, let your soul speak. Ask yourself, what am I building? Why does it matter? Who do I serve when no one's watching? Because clarity is not a lightning bolt, it is a slow remembering, a whisper that turns into a path. Eleanor Roosevelt stood in the face of ridicule and expectation, but her clarity of purpose, to speak for the voiceless, became the steel beneath her gentleness. This is not a ritual of planning. This is the ritual of seeing, not with your eyes, but with your inner compass. Follow it. And now, the ritual of purpose. The world will offer you roles, titles, achievements, but they are paper crowns on windy days. Purpose is not what you do. It's the reason you wake up even when life claws at your back. It's what remains when everything else is stripped away. The Tao does not force purpose. It invites it. You do not chase purpose. You uncover it, like digging through layers of dust to find ancient gold. And when you find it, every act becomes sacred. Every day, a chance to honor it. Whether you speak to millions or only to your reflection, purpose gives meaning to both. Remember this, Da Vinci's sketches were never seen in his lifetime, but he created with divine purpose, not for praise, but for presence. So ask yourself, if no one ever clapped, would you still build? If no one ever liked, would you still write? If no one ever knew, would you still become? This is the ritual that connects you to something eternal, a reason beyond the mirror, beyond applause. Anchor to that. And then comes the ritual of adaptability, because no plan survives the fire unchanged. No path stays straight in a living world. The Tao flows, always. It bends, but it never breaks. Your job is not to resist the wind, it's to learn how to sail with it. Obstacles will come, they are not signs to stop, they are invitations to evolve. When Edison's lab burned to the ground, he didn't curse the flames, he said, "Thank God, all our mistakes are gone." And he rebuilt, better. You are not a tree, you are the wind. You are not your plan. You are the force that adapts it. This is your ritual of transformation, of surrendering the shape, but never the essence. Flow, but stay rooted.
And now we arrive at the ritual of resilience, because even the gentlest stream can carve stone, not through strength, but through persistence. Resilience is not about pretending you're unshaken. It's about showing up while you shake. It's not about avoiding the fall. It's about rising,
scarred and wiser every single time. The Tao doesn't promise ease, it promises truth, and truth often comes wrapped in discomfort. You will be tested by failure, by loss, by doubt. And in those moments, remember this: the oak tree grows not in calm skies, but in the storms. The roots deepen when the wind howls. The strength is built in the breaking. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won. He was mocked, doubted, dismissed, but his resilience wasn't in victory. It was in the refusal to be defined by defeat. That's your ritual, not perfection, but refusal to quit on yourself. You don't have to roar, you just have to stand. Now the ritual of gratitude, not the kind you post, not the kind you say when things are good, but the sacred kind, the kind that sees beauty in the ordinary. Gratitude is the secret ritual of power. It transforms everything it touches. Because when you honor the little, you invite the great. The Taoist masters bowed to the sunrise, not because they worshiped the sun, but because they noticed it. They bowed to the tea, to the silence, to the breath. When you begin to thank life, even in pain, even in stillness, you begin to own it, to reclaim it. Carnegie once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." So thank your struggle, thank your hunger, thank the unseen progress. Gratitude is not weakness. It is perspective sharpened by wisdom. This ritual doesn't ask you to fake a smile. It asks you to find truth, even when wrapped in shadows. And finally, the ritual of action. Because all wisdom, all clarity, all purpose mean nothing until you move. Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." But most people never take it. They wait for perfect timing, for permission, for courage to arrive like lightning. But courage isn't given. It's forged in the doing. This is your call to rise, to act, to stop reading your life like a book someone else wrote. The Tao flows, but it does not drift. It follows the unseen current, but it moves. So take the step, make the call, write the page, show up, not because you know where it ends, but because you finally trust the path. Every day is a sacred offering, not something to survive, but something to sculpt. These rituals are not magic. They are not ancient superstition. They are choices, small, repeated, unwavering. They are how you bring the Tao, the way, into a world that has forgotten how to breathe. You don't need to escape to the mountains. You don't need to renounce everything. You only need to remember, to return, to reconnect, to rise each day as a warrior of awareness, and end each night as a master of peace. Because in the end, the true power is not in becoming more, it's in becoming you, fully, deeply, unapologetically. Let the world race. You walk your way.